European player, less foreigner, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's no North Americans here. Were there any North Americans invited?
I actually don't think so. You guys are a little bit too bad.
Man, what the hell?
You kind of ran into that one.
Not representing.
So yeah, let's see what Puma is going to do on this map. Right now we have him only with gas so far. We don't even see the barracks. He is probably starting with the barracks and then a gasless expand, I would suspect. And Stephano right now just waiting for the 15th zone in order to start his hatch first. I actually pulled the record for Puma, and he had a little bit of a problem in 2012 against Zerg so far. He lost all of his matches. There were only 3 of them, and he played against Lucky, Red, and Morrow, and he lost all of them.
But to be fair, those are pretty tough opponents.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Morrow especially, really, because he only plays 2 matchups, basically, has a really high understanding of the ZVT matchup, and it is so hard to beat him. For any Terran player. Puma dropping this barracks. It's a little bit offset from the depot. I wonder if he's going to put an add-on on there, maybe a tech lab?
Right now we have the refinery being built, so he's going for gas, might just well go for some kind of reactor factory Hellion play, while we see the usual bread and butter build for the Zerg player. For Stephano, we have him right now with a hatch first, and he's squeezing in another couple of drones, trying to cut some corners on Cloud Kingdom. As we already mentioned, it's the map that he was not really looking forward to. Finally the pool for him on 17 supply.
Yeah, pretty late pool there, and he's going to have to be careful. It is a tech lab opening for Puma, so we might be seeing a Reaper here. And right off the bat, that worries me a little bit by... Ooh, there's a pause request from Puma. So we won't talk too much about the builds as the players are sorting out some issues. Hopefully all of Puma's hardware is working correctly. You can see...
Puma didn't play too many games against Zerg in this tournament so far, so right now he actually, I think it's actually the first one that he played after the group stage. So he was just playing against Bishu, he won against Bishu, and then he took down his opponent Select, and there's a... Don't go away from me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he took down Select in a Terran versus Terran, whereas Stephano played really well, but the thing with Stephano is he played only against Protoss so far.
And he's played beautifully against all of them. See Puma putting his headset back on, and maybe we're going to be gearing up to go again, or maybe not. So, not sure what the issue is just yet, guys. We'll let you know as soon as we know. Yeah, you're right. Stephano's had virtually an all-Protoss pool, getting out of his groups 3-0, and then playing Protoss players in the round of 8 and in the semifinals. No, this is the semifinals.
Which actually suits him very, very well, because he is just such a beast against Protoss. We've seen this countless of times over the weekend. And his matchup against Terran is actually his worst matchup. Well, if there's a worst matchup for Stephano, he has still like 65% win ratio, which is kind of insane.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure what we were waiting for.
Well, I think somebody ran off the stage maybe to get a... I don't know. Actually, I don't know. But hopefully we get it resolved sooner than later. So,
yeah, we talked a little bit with Stephano, what he thinks he can do against Puma, and he's actually quite confident. Once again, I mean, I've never seen Stephano say that he thinks that he's not going to win a match, so he's just a great player, probably the best player in Europe right now. And he has been in Korea for a while, not for all too long, but he played a couple of matches, and it was actually really interesting to see, because when Stephano started to play that well, there were a lot of people who were kind of curious if he was able to play against the Koreans on the same level. And upon starting in the Blizzard tournament, we've seen him lose quite a lot of games against Terran as well. One game against MVP comes to mind, where MVP played a beautiful build and just completely outplayed him. And it's kind of the adapting style. Yeah, well, people kind of said that his style was figured out. But after his return from Korea, we've seen him mixing it up a lot. He's shown that he will, pull out some weird all-ins here or there. Sometimes he'll throw down that early Roach Warren and go Roachling Bane or something crazy like that. So Stephano definitely learned from his time in Korea, learned to mix it up. I actually asked him at the Home Story Cup about his time in Korea, whether or not he ever wanted to go back. And Stephano said, you know what, I don't really want to go back. I got to a point where I was as good as the top Koreans, and I didn't feel like I was going to get any better by staying there. So I'm just going to come back to Europe and play in tournaments and practice on my own time. And if results mean anything, he's been producing. Yeah, he's definitely a great player, and he has been playing RTS games for a while now. He started with Warcraft 3 when he was like 13 years old. Yep. So it was actually impressive to see him how he fared against the best Warcraft 3 players out there, namely, for example, Grubby. And he was always already at this young age he was able to take a couple of maps and a couple of games from really good professional players, and now he is in StarCraft 2 just at an age where he can completely shine. He's a professional gamer right now, and he's doing so well.
Yeah, he's at the top of his career. One of my favorite stories about Stephano from Warcraft 3 was he was a practice partner for Grubby. And at one of the first Home Story Cups, Grubby's there and Stephano's there. These guys have practiced together for ages. Grubby walks up to Stephano and goes, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And Stephano goes, "I'm fine. Who are you?"
Yeah,
like, I'm Grubby. Yeah, Stephano just kind of has a reputation for maybe not caring about what people think or say. He doesn't really follow all the threads, and he's not checking Reddit every waking minute. He just focuses on his own play, and that's one of the things that makes him so great.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good thing if you are able to just shut out all the negative feedback and everything that people tell you to do, because everyone has an opinion. And right now, the game starts again because Puma apparently, whatever issue there was, that has been resolved.
Has been resolved.
And we go for the Reaper expand. So he's not going for a Reactor Factory expand, but goes for Reaper build and expands behind it. And obviously, when you're a Terran player, just try early on to shut down the creep spread of the Zerg player. You want to make sure that he's not able to spread creep, that his third base is a little bit delayed. We have now Stephano taking a bit of gas so that he can start with his metabolic boost in order to gain a bit of map control. And at the same time, obviously, the 2 queens are being built for him now.
Yep, Reaper expand into what looks like Reactor Factory. I like this Reaper opening a lot. Stephano getting such a late spawning pool meant that his queens were a little bit delayed. I was worried for a second that, oh, look at that, Puma jumps up into the Zerglings.
Awesome understanding of the game. He is in position right away, takes down the Reaper. Very, very well done by Stephano, shutting down this early aggression by Puma. And Puma was not able to accomplish anything. He didn't even kill a single drone.
Yeah, achieved nothing there. First blood goes to Stephano. Puma, I mean, he didn't even get a scout off with that Reaper. He doesn't know if Stephano's taking gas. He doesn't know if Stephano's, I don't know, thrown down a Roach Warren and is gearing up for an all-in. Puma's completely in the dark, and this is a really scary feeling. He delayed his Hellions a little bit by getting that fast Reaper, and he's going to be playing blind for a little while longer than he would probably want to be.
We have a lot of Zerglings now for Stephano, so he tries to be a little bit aggressive early on, which I actually like quite a lot, especially given the fact that he was able to deny the scouting. At the same time, we have Puma going for a third command center. A lot of Zerg players lately have been trying to be more aggressive with Baneling and Roach attacks. If you go for a third base as a Terran player early on, then you're a little bit vulnerable to it. You need to make sure that you have early on a tank in order to deal with the aggression of your opponent, but Stephano is just going for Ling's speed, kicks in when he's halfway down to the map of his opponent, and there is nothing for Puma to defend right now.
Oh no, Puma better raise his wall, and he does get it up in time, but he's still going to lose some SCVs in his natural. Ling's started to poke at that tech lab, but with Hellions behind that wall, no real worries there. Puma does bring back those first 2 Hellions, and Stephano will give chase. And man, it always seems like Stephano does the right thing. Already grabbing an early lead, 33 drones to 25 SCVs, killing a few units, killing a couple of SCVs, and forcing a lift to the command center. Double command center, in fact, for Puma. He's got his 3rd orbital finishing up now, so he's going to have a huge economy. There's those 2 eBays going down, so we're going to see big macro out of Puma.
I like those 2 engineering base for Puma. He's trying to get the early upgrades, and Stephano was at least able to deny mining from the 2nd base for quite a bit, but the unit control for his opponent was really, really well executed. He did an awesome job. Now 1 Hellion is not denied access to the main base, as he's able to sneak by the Queen, and now is at least able to get a little bit of a scouting information, knows about the evolution chamber, about the upgrade as well, before it finally dies.
Yeah, somebody greased that Hellion up when he popped out of the factory. He was somehow able to squeeze by the Queen. Puma right now has 5 Hellions out on the map. That's going to give him a lot of control against Stephano. And this is one of the beauties of the Hellion opening. You get the map control. It becomes so hard for Lings to be effective on the map. And because of that, Puma is able to do something greedy, like take that double command center and power out SCVs and mules and things like that. Stephano with a pretty quick 3rd base, though, is going to be able to keep up an economy quite well, in my opinion.
And we have right now Stephano with a creep spread, very, very important if you want to connect the 2nd and the 3rd base, especially on Cloud Kingdom. So he's doing a really good job. That creep will him quite a lot, give him the extra speed advantage over his opponent, especially in case he has to deal with additional Hellion harass. Right now, in regards to the harvesters, we have Stephano on 51 to 30 to 40 harvesters, and we see him with a lair tech, and he's getting additional gas. He's on 3 bases, while the Hellions just try to sneak by and have a little bit of a scouting route right now.
I like what I'm seeing out of Puma. He's getting blue flame. He's adding extra barracks. I think he's taken a page out of MVP's book. He's going to go Hellion Marine against Stephano, and in this first game, Stephano looks like he wants to play Infesterling, classic Stephano style. He's got +1 melee, +1 carapace, both on the way. Layer's about to finish up, and with it, I'm almost certain he's going to drop the Infestation Pit. And Hellion Marine, very, very strong against Infesterling.
We have him right now with the additional creep spread outside of his main base, and this is so important if you want to delay the, the attack of your opponent a bit. He cancels one of the creep toes a little bit too late, tries to surround the Hellions, does a really good job taking down one of them already, but Puma with a nice unit control on his own, he's only losing 2-3 Hellions and able to retreat with the rest of them. Very well played by Stephano though. He's putting quite a bit of pressure onto Puma.
Oh, he's doing a great job of cleaning up these Hellions. He's taken map control back away from Puma, and immediately drops that Infestation Pit, gets his +2 carapace upgrade started at the instant +1 finishes. So definitely committing to the Infesterling style. Stephano up to 52 drones against the 51 SCVs of Puma. Puma with these 3 command centers able to get such a big economy.
Those mules definitely held him out quite a bit, and the armory is about to finish as soon as the +1/+1 upgrade are done, so he can start right away with additional upgrades for his Marines. He already has Combat Shield on Stim, obviously, and at the same time, Stephano is just droning again. He wants to get this economy. He has the macro hatch, he has enough lava right now, the Infestation Pit about to finish, and adding a Roach Warren. So really well played by Stephano so far. And with the Roach Warren, he has the option of just taking down the Hellions, because Blue Flame Hellions, as you already mentioned, Ben, are just so insane against Zerglings.
But interestingly enough, Puma's not been continuing to produce Hellions. He's got 2 out on the map right now. He's making a 3rd one, but when Stephano killed the majority of the Hellions that were on the map, that was basically all the Hellions that Puma had produced. So already Puma's entire game plan has been turned upside down a little bit. Stephano not yet mining gas in his 3rd base. He has taken those extractors though, and he's got 5 infestors on the way. At the top half of the map, we can see a dropship moving along. Spotted by one of Stephano's overlords though.
Exactly, one overlord is probably going to die. Actually, he saves the overlord, very well done, and Puma has to retreat once again. Stephano is just everywhere. He has such a great map awareness, and this shows right now. We have Puma with the attempt to get at least the tank production going on, and 2nd factory is being built, and he's going for the siege mode right now. At the same time, Stephano is getting more and more upgrades upon finishing layer, +2 attack, +2 armor, going for the roach speed. He's in a great position and trying to take a 4th base now. The main problem for Stephano is that it's really hard to attack the Terran player. The 3rd base is up for Puma, and as soon as he has tanks with siege mode in the game, it's going to be very, very difficult for Stephano to turn up the heat and attack his opponent.
It will be tough, but it will not be impossible, as Puma's got an orbital at his 3rd base, not a planetary fortress. We do see another Zergling attack here in the middle of the map. Blue Flame Hellions are out, Marines getting picked up. As Puma realizes that that is not a fight that he's going to win. Stephano pushing forward with Roaches, Zerglings, and Infestors. This is a very scary army for Puma, as, okay, siege mode is done now. So he should be able to set up a position at the top of this ramp that Stephano can attack, but Stephano is moving forward as if he wants to go for it.
We have him with the Infestors in position already. There they are, the infested Swarm X trying to bait the tank fire. Doing a really good job. Nice fungals by Stephano, going in with the Zerglings. Doing a really good job. He's right now on +2 armor upgrades already, and he's killing a ton of units by Puma. Puma dropping down to 110 supply. Has to lift off the orbital and retreat. At the same time, we have the Terran player for Evil Genius with an attempt to drop lane to the main base, but once again, Stephano already on his way to defend.
If Stephano moving to defend the drop in the main, but I don't know if he's seen this one that's coming towards his natural. He's continuing to pile on pressure at Puma's front, but he's going to get dropped at 2 places at one time, and it's going to be a bit hard for Stephano to respond perfectly to this. The units in the main are now ferried down to the 3rd base. Puma, man, Stephano is just everywhere at once, doing a good job reacting.
But I have to give credit to Puma right now. He is just dropping everywhere, making sure that Stephano really has to run for his money. Stephano is doing a good job at defending, but still, those Marines have already a lot of kills. And once again, he's retreating with a drop into the main base, dropping the 2nd again. It's just so hard to defend drop play if you don't have Mutalisk, and this is something that Puma exploits now very, very well.
Yeah, Puma doing a great job spreading Stephano out here. Queen really focusing on the medevac in the natural, and this medevac might fall. No, the Queen actually going to jump onto these Marines, start poking away at them. That's a small mistake. Roaches and Lings do show up, cleaning up the push in the natural, the drop, I should say, in the natural. At the same time, Puma moving around on the left side of the map. I don't know if he's spotted this space up at 12 o'clock. Looks like he has. So he's going to be pushing in here to crush this. Stephano sees it. Now, he's going to lose this hatchery, but I really worry that Puma might lose this whole army.
And there we go, the Zerglings once again streaming in, and at the back we have the Roach with the 2 armor upgrades. Need to retreat though, those tanks do a ton of damage. The base is gone, Stephano back on 3 bases. He's building another macro hatch and is relying on Zerglings once again. Puma obviously tried to get his 3rd base up once more, and that's the small run by with a couple of Lings. They will be able to do a lot of damage.
Too clumped up is Puma, and he gets all those Marines and Marauders fungal to death. Tanks unable to enter siege mode under the effects of fungal growth. And Puma's going to lose every single one of these units. Huge win there for Stephano.
Job well done by Stephano, but Puma now is ahead in supply. Stephano has a lot of gas banked up though, and a ton of minerals as well. He's going for Adrenal Glands now, and at the same time he's already researching the +3 attack and armor upgrade. So doing a very good job at using those double evolution chambers. Yep. At the top left we have once again the hatchery being built for Stephano. Creep spread still awesome for a French Zerg player. And in the main base of Puma, a ton of production buildings, a ton of barracks. He's just relying on those bio units with the tank support.
Stephano's still playing kind of low economy, only 64 drones versus the 80 or so that you might expect from a Hive-Tech Zerg. He still hasn't secured that 4th base, though. He's trying once again to take the top left expansion. Puma going to go once again to drop it, though. There's a medevac with about 6 Marines in it.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for Stephano's Hive-Tech, man. He's getting 3-3, he's getting Adrenal Glands, but he's got no Greater Spire, he's got no Ultralisk Cavern. So, I mean, I don't know, upgrades are great, but at some point I feel like you have to attack past pure Zergling.
And there we have the Ultralisk Cavern, while once again Puma is dropping. And Puma is doing such a great job being a nuisance right now. He's just taking down every base attempt of Stephano, and at the same time he already hit 162 supply. He's ahead in supply, he's going for the +3 upgrades as well, and he has just a great army. Stephano now trying to make up for all the drones that he lost, building another round of 11 drones, trying to drop once more, and he has another force at the right side of the map, take down another attempt of Stephano to take a 4th. Puma doing such a great job at keeping the Zerg play on 3 bases.
Oh yeah, you're so absolutely right. And you're also right to say that Puma's doing a great job of macroing ahead of Stephano, but we have to realize that Stephano's playing a very supply-intensive game, if that makes any sense. People often say that roaches falsely inflate a Zerg's supply number. At the same time, Zerglings falsely deflate that number. Stephano's at 173 supply. That means he's got 82 Lings out against only 30 Marines. So there's still a huge army on the map for Stephano. Puma doing such a great job of spreading Stephano out with these drops, pushing again at the attempted 4th expansion of the Zerg player. And right
I would
now,
love Stephano
to
just build a couple of Spore Crawlers and put some Queens into position to take down the drop play. He doesn't have any Mutalisks, and therefore it's really hard for him to deny the drop play to Puma. But Spore Crawlers and maybe even a couple of Spine Crawlers would have done a lot, would help him so much. He's low on minerals though most of the game, so this is a little bit of a problem to him. He just can't get this 4th base. And finally we have some Ultralisks for him. He's going for Chitinous Plating, but just look at the army for Puma.
Yeah, Puma's got a very scary army, but this is 120 Zerglings, 14 Infestors, so I mean, if Puma makes a single mistake, he's going to lose everything. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen Stephano counterattacking. That's something that he usually does very, very well, but I guess these drops have just been freaking him out so much. He finally cleans up a dropship outside of his natural there. And maybe he'll have a moment's solace to secure this expansion at the top left at last. Puma's still in the middle of the map, but clumped up there. Oh, a couple of Infestors going to go down to tank fire. That's a little bit sloppy by Stephano.
Puma has to be a little bit careful. One of the problems that he definitely has to face is that if he's in the middle of the map, Stephano might try to go for some kind of flank. At the top left, we already have another base attempt by Stephano, and this time there are a bunch of Zerglings just in case that Puma tries to put on the pressure once again. 3-3 upgrades already for the melee units of Stephano, and he's now transferring drones to the left. And that's the small force, small couple of bio units going over there in order to take it down, but the Zerglings, they're ready.
Puma's doing such a great job of keeping track of Stephano's army. He's literally scanning everywhere, and he sees every bit of movement that Stephano makes. Again, scanning on top of Stephano's army right there outside the 3rd base. Going to push up towards this top left expansion with the majority of his Marine Marauder force, but I'm still feeling like Stephano's army, 102 Zerglings, 4 Ultras, and 11 Infestors represents a serious threat to the not yet fully upgraded Puma.
Oh, Stephano has to be careful. Attacking in a bottleneck position is definitely not what he wants to do right now, especially not with Ultralisk. He's trying to flank, going for the tanks now. And here we have 1,000 infested Swarm X, but a little bit of a problem. Beautiful funnels finally. And this is a huge problem for Puma from everywhere. Zergling streaming in and taking down Puma's army, sandwiching everything.
Wow! Puma's army melts away, and Stephano with a great engagement, using those infested Terrans to absorb some of that tank fire, and then engaging from with as much surface area as possible with those Zerglings and Ultras. And now Stephano sitting on about a 50 supply lead. That was absolutely textbook, perfect engagement from the Zerg player, and he's going to stream across the map now with 90 more Lings, and oh my gosh, I just don't know, Caldor, if Puma can defend this third base.
This is actually really brutal for the Terran player. Another base being taken by Stephano. He's expanding behind this, trying to take on the third base of his opponent. Retreating right now, trying to keep the Terran player a little bit small, but here we go once again. The Puma trying to defend against it, but he is so far behind. The medivacs, everything is just trying to heal those Marauders in the front, but there are just way too many units for Stephano. He's having to trade armies now. And at the top left, we have a couple of units for Puma trying to take down the expansion, but this fight is ending in favor of Stephano, and Puma is losing more and more supply, dropping below 100.
Yeah, Puma all the way down to 90 supply. Did some really cute stuff with SCVs on hold position, kind of messing with the AI of the Zerg units. But as you said, Stephano did a ton of damage there with that attack. Puma all the way down to just 33 SCVs now against the 75 drones and the 4 bases of Stephano. Stephano securing this middle, I guess, 3 o'clock expansion on the back of all of that aggression. Great play here by the French Zerg. And I've got to say, Caldor, Puma is in quite a bit of trouble. If he does not do something quickly to deny the economy of Stephano, this game is going to be lost.
Well, indeed, he might lose the game very, very soon. I feel like Stephano just played it perfectly. He had such a huge problem defending at all those drops, and Puma, his drops play would have crushed a lesser player with ease. It was just so great. He dropped everywhere, always evaded the defense attempts of his opponent, and dropped again, made good use of the high and low grounds. But Stephano, he was everywhere. He took a little bit of damage, but he was quite able to recover from it. And now he's in an awesome position. He's nearly doubling the supply of his opponent. He is 2 bases ahead. This is exactly the position you want to be in if you're a Zerg player.
Yep. Puma continuing to try to drop. Stephano seems to sense it as he's sending some Lings up to this top left expansion. Just as the medevac arrives, how do you do it, Stephano? Just ultimate game sense. And he's got just enough units there to clean up this attempted drop by Puma. 1 Marine will hop up into that medevac and go home to tell all of his friends about the horrors of war against the Zerg.
Indeed, indeed. Stephano definitely has Puma's number today. We have a bunch of infestors now being burrowed and trying to pedal towards the third base. We double Spire with 1,600 minerals and a lot of gas banked up. He's going for the double Spire play right now so that he can start with the double upgrades. And those infestors they will probably go for a fungal. Yes, that's exactly what's happening. Awesome, he is taking down a ton of SCVs. Wow.
9 SCV kills on one of those infestors, and that's actually a big blow when you're all the way down to only 20 harvesters, as is Puma right now. Trying to secure this 4th expand, but Stephano really doing a good job of just controlling the map. Puma's got a respectable bio army right now, but with as much fungal and with as many Lings and Ultras as Stephano has out, it's going to be so hard to make something happen. Look at even a Zergling burrowing there to prevent additional attempts at expansion into that 4th base.
It's kind of interesting to note that Puma right now has exactly the same army supply as Stephano. A lot of the overall supply advantage of Stephano results in his higher work account. But due to the higher work account, he has such an awesome amount of gas and minerals, and he's just going for a bunch of Corruptors right now, at the same time upgrading his Greater Spire. And as soon as we have a bunch of Broodlords in the game, this will be lights out for Puma. He does not have any anti-air at all. Once again, Puma attacking at 2 places at the same time, but Stephano is there to defend. Well, those units at the top left maybe even be able to do a couple of damage, but it does not matter at this point.
4 or 5 Marines up at the top left do kill a handful of drones there. Stephano going to send some Lings up. I really have to applaud Puma for his continued drop attempts. I mean, he just refuses to give Stephano a moment's rest. I would love to see some counterattacking from Stephano. He said that on Cloud Kingdom you can't really attack into Terran, but in this instance, Puma's spreading himself out a little bit. He's expanding into his 4th now. Now there's enough space for Stephano to start looking for openings. If he were to come in and take out the infrastructure of Puma, I think it would be GG.
Stephano definitely waiting now for the Broodlords. He knows fully well that it's hard to take his opponent on 3 bases, but as soon as there are Broodlords, there is nothing that Puma can do. He has no anti-air. He does not have the production capabilities to get enough Vikings in time, and we still have a lot. There are 11 Broodlords are being morphed. He still has 12 infestors. This is just brutal. Puma once again trying to drop, and Ben, you are so right. It's just awesome how Puma just tries to go for this relentless pressure by, but Stephano, he is so aware of it. He knows every time there's a medevac heading towards this expansion.
Ling's following this medevac, daring the Marine to come out. But and he does actually.
Well, the Chuck Norris Marine is not able to take down the Zerglings on the base.
Man, it sucks to be a Puma paratrooper.
And another drop to the top left, but again we have the Zerglings on the way. A drop to the top right at the natural, trying to take on the Greater Spire. That might actually work.
Yeah, the unit's positioned pretty well. Greater Spire taking a lot of damage. There is a Marauder in the mix. One more shot. Greater Spire does fall, but not before a lot of these Broodlords finish. Stephano is still managing to defend his top left expand. That hatchery has 20
Beautiful fungal, by the way, and beautiful, amazing fungal of this clustered up army. The Broodlords in an awesome position. At the top left, one Marauder takes down the expansion. Stephano is now back on 5 bases. And
back on 5 bases.
Back on 5.
Puma really with only 1.5 mining expos right now. His main and natural are gone. He's still mining in his third, but just barely.
He's trying to go for Vikings now.
Well, I mean, obviously he needs to, given that there are 11 Broodlords out. He certainly can't afford Ghosts at this stage of the game. And really, in today's metagame, I don't know that the Ghosts really work against Broodlords. A big push by Puma moving up towards the top left, and now Stephano, he's going to chase the army. I guess he just feels like he wants to...
He's building a hatch at the bottom right. This is, well, like really cheeky. He knows he probably has won the game. And still, Puma does not give up. He is not one to throw a game. Certainly not pulling an hit right here. We have 124 supply, and, well, here comes Stephano once again. Beautiful fungals. Amazing.
Massive fungals going down. Puma's entire bio army melts away. Corruptors are there to pick off the medevacs and the Vikings, and that relegates Puma to just 50 supply against a nearly maxed out Stephano. Puma's going to come out and deny this hatchery. Great job here. Preventing Stephano from... Oh, are you serious, Stephano?
If this game is actually any indication on what we are going to see in this best of 5, then we are in for quite a treat. Puma down to 56 supply against 185, trying once again to take a base at the bottom right. There is a burrowed Zergling with a troll face, denying the orbital command, and only one mule mining, but Stephano's Broodlords are just going to town now.
Yes, indeed. He's got 11 of them, 40 Lings, 2 Ultras, 11 Infestors still out on the map. Marines managed to find the Broodlords, and they're going to get a couple of kills here, but then they're going to be fungled to death. And that means Puma's all the way down to 20 supply. GG! Stephano takes game number 1 in pretty convincing fashion, I've got to say.
Quite the impressive performance by Stephano. This was really well played. But I have to say, it's not like Puma played bad. He
played not at all. He played
very
great.
Incredible game, and all those drops was amazing.
Constantly dropping, constantly jockeying for map control, and really making Stephano work. At some point, Stephano was in some trouble. Had expansions killed multiple times, but Stephano has proven time and time again throughout this tournament that he is just a macro beast. He's always got so many units, and his later game army control, impeccable.
Yeah, his map awareness was just insane. It was so nice to watch how he was able to spot those medivacs every single time. And Puma just in a position, I have to say, if I was Puma, I would just think, what can I do? What is there that I can actually do? I was dropping everywhere, I was abusing high grounds, low grounds, making sure that those drops did a lot of damage. But this is really insane, and this is the map that Stephano didn't want to play.
Yeah, this is Stephano's apparently favorite map, ZVT. We'll talk a little bit about it once the game starts. Yeah, you know what? You said, what does Puma do against this? A lot of players have been asking themselves this week.